Children are malnourished. You know that it will affect their studies, it will affect their livelihood, in fact, it will affect their development. So, people of Plateau State needs to
effectively deployed to health facilities and nutrition centers to address cases of malnutrition.
To go to hospital for treatment. Their own kind of food is different. That also the government used to procure and take care of those kind of children. But this particular one is for prevention.
The arrival of the nutrition commodities marks another major step in Plateau State fight against child and maternal malnutrition.
Residents of some communities in Langtan North local government area are counting their losses following a devastating windstorm that destroyed houses, business premises, schools, and places of worship. Deputy Chairman of the Council, Deborah Dallin, has led an assessment team to inspect the affected communities and assure victims of government intervention. Our Langtan Zonal correspondent has details.
The windstorm, which recently swept through several communities in Langtan North, left behind a trail of destruction with roofs blown off buildings, structures partially damaged, and in some cases, houses completely brought down. Communities worst hit by the disaster include Pilgani, which recorded the highest level of destruction, as well as Dangil, Kaplak, Magai, Zamkwar, Liangjit, Dunjor, and Bapkwai. During an on-the-spot assessment visit to the affected areas, the Deputy Chairman of Langtan North Local Government Council, Deborah Dallin, who also chairs the Local Government Emergency Management Committee, sympathized with families affected by the storm. Mrs. Dallin, accompanied by the Council's Deputy Director of Personnel Management, Paul Dangwam, and Supervisory Councillor for Social Services, Zainab Jibrin, said the visit was to ascertain the extent of damage and gather first-hand information for immediate documentation. She assured victims that the committee will compile and forward a detailed report to both the Plateau State Emergency Management Agency and the National Emergency Management Agency for necessary intervention and relief support.
And then stop the community, the individuals, from cutting down the tree, because the tree is very important. It protects the houses from the windstorms to destroy our houses. So we'll still emphasize on not cutting the trees in the community.
Also speaking during the visit, Councillor representing Kufen C Ward, Nansel Vangjen, appealed passionately for urgent assistance for affected households, noting that many families have been displaced and are currently facing difficult living conditions. The windstorm affected not only residential buildings, but also commercial centers, government facilities, community schools, and places of worship, raising concerns over the socio-economic impact on affected communities. From Langtan North Local Government Area, I am Thaddeus Yilmen.
Plateau Youth Council has protested an alleged movement of equipment from the privatized Just Steel rolling mills by its new owner, Zuma Steel West Africa Limited. Chairman of the Youth Council, Panan Gongden, said the action of the company is detrimental to small and large-scale businesses operating in the state. Our correspondent has the details.
Zuma Steel West Africa Limited, located in the industrial layout of Jos, the Plateau State capital, is an old company that deals with iron and steel production. Trouble started when some youths under the umbrella of the Plateau Youth Council stormed the company premises to challenge and demand explanation on an alleged vandalization and illegal movement of heavy equipment out of the factory to an undisclosed destination. PYC Chairman Panan Gonden, who led the exercise, said after meeting with representatives of the company and traditional rulers, some far-reaching resolutions were reached.
The Plateau youths are not only looking out for properties of Plateau State government. We look out for properties of every Nigerian domicile on the Plateau.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And so I want to say this on record, that investors, as our governor has always said, are welcome on the Plateau because Plateau State...
Chief Operating Officer, Zuma Steel West Africa Limited, Oche Lando, identified the issue of inadequate power supply as one of the challenges that makes them go out to finish some of their production activities.
Not only here to protect the heritage of Plateau people, but also to protect the investment of the investors. It is very clear. We don't need any words to express. We are very, very ready. We're going to do things duly.
Gomdaol Giringda Pius Dung Mancha appeal for dialogue, understanding and transparency in the activities of the company.
It is not an illegality that we are doing something illegally. It must be followed according to due process.
In Jos, I am Katlong Gukwat.
The Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative has warned that illicit mining activities, weak regulatory oversight, and criminal infiltration of mining communities are draining Nigeria's mineral wealth and undermining efforts to diversify the economy. The warning was contained in a press statement issued on Thursday by the Director of Communications and Stakeholders Management of NATI, Obiageli Onora, following the release of a policy brief titled Stemming the Scourge of Illicit Financial Flows in Nigeria's Mining Sector. NATI stated that despite Nigeria's vast deposits of gold, lithium, limestone, and gemstones, illicit financial flows continue to weaken the solid mineral sector through illegal mining, smuggling, tax evasion, corruption, and money laundering. The agency noted that the mining sector contributed only 401 billion naira in revenue and accounted for 0.72% of Nigeria's gross domestic product, according to NETI's 2023 Industry Audit Report, despite the country's enormous mineral resources. NETI explained that the weak institutional coordination among regulatory agencies had further worsened the situation. It said severe fragmentation of regulatory oversight across institutions, including the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, the Mining Cadastre Office, NATI, Nigeria Customs Service, Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, and relevant state agencies. Each institution collects sector-relevant data in silos with limited interoperability and no integrated sector-wide digital monitoring system. The organization also expressed concern over the use of shell companies and opaque ownership structures within the mining sector, warning that such arrangements enable politically exposed persons, criminal actors, and undisclosed foreign interests to conceal their involvement in mining operations. According to the policy brief, mining licenses are frequently held through special purpose vehicles, shell companies, and layered corporate structures that obscure the natural persons who ultimately own or control extractive assets. Residents of some communities in Langtan North local government area of Plateau State have commended the Secretary to the Plateau State government, Samuel Jatto, for drilling 12 hand pump boreholes across the area to address water challenges. The intervention is coming at a period when several communities in neighboring Langtang South local government area are reportedly facing acute shortage of potable water. Our Langtang zonal correspondent reports the gesture has reduced the hardship women and children face to get water for domestic use.
Speaking on behalf of benefiting communities, the Pojigani, Colonel Dauda Nimel retired, described the project as timely and impactful, noting that access to clean water remains a critical need in rural communities.
All sort of waterborne diseases will drastically reduce.
Also speaking, the legislative leader of Langtang North Legislative Council, Nanlok Miri, said the gesture demonstrates responsible leadership and concern for the well-being of the people.
He heard the cry of his people.
Falil Lokfa also lauded Samuel Jatto for extending such a life-changing intervention to underserved communities.
We, the Gazum community as a whole, I think we have been suffering for the issue of water for quite a long time, but as God could make it, I think we have gotten what we need as a community.
The community leaders pledged to safeguard and maintain the facilities to ensure their sustainability for future generations. Project manager of the firm handling the construction, Nanman Haruna, expressed confidence in the durability of the boreholes, attributing it to the quality materials deployed for the project. Communities visited under the first phase of the project include Damdur in Zamko Ward, Gazum, Pilgani, Kiler, Shishiri, and state locals along the Langtang-Wasi road. Meanwhile, phase 2 of the water project is expected to commence immediately after the completion of the ongoing first phase, From Langtang North, I am Thaddeus Yilmen.
The University of Jos has emerged the biggest beneficiary of awards at the 6th edition of the National Tertiary Admissions Performance Merit NATAP-M Awards, organized by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, held alongside its 2026 admission policy meeting in Abuja on Monday, 11th May 2026. A statement signed by the Deputy Information and Publications on the institution, Emmanuel Madugu, says the event, University of Jos, received a whopping 500 million naira award in recognition of its outstanding performance within the nation's admission system. It further stated that the University of Jos was first in the admission of international students, second in compliance with JAM admission policy, and sixth in the national spread of admitted students. Other awardees at the event include ABU Zaria, which received 40 million naira, University of Ilorin, Akwa Ibom State University, and Lagos State University, which got 25 million naira each. The NATAP-M Awards were introduced by JAM to promote transparency, merit, compliance, and excellence in Nigeria's tertiary admission process. And on the foreign scene, nearly 2,300 people died in DR Congo's deadliest Ebola outbreak between 2018 and 2020. Africa's top health agency has declared an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo's eastern Ituri province. Around 246 cases and 65 deaths have been reported, mainly in the gold mining towns of Mongwalu and Rwampara, said the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC Africa. Its statement on Friday added that it was convening a meeting with DR Congo, Uganda, South Sudan, and other international partners to discuss response efforts and cross-border surveillance. Ebola was first discovered in 1976 in what is now DR Congo and is thought to have spread from bats. This is the 17th outbreak of the deadly viral disease in the country. It is spread through direct contact with bodily fluids, causing severe bleeding and organ failure. Early symptoms include fever, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, and sore throat. There is no cure for Ebola. Preliminary tests conducted at the Institut National de Recherche Biomedical in the capital, Kinshasa, have detected the virus in 13 of 20 samples analyzed, following consultations with DR Congo's Ministry of Health and National Public Institute. Of the 65 deaths, 4 were reported among lab-confirmed cases, CDC Africa said. Additional suspected cases have also been reported in Ituri's provincial capital.